I am an 18-year-old computer science student. I am aware that I will soon leave school with significant debt, and the UK economy is likely to present challenges once I graduate. I would like some advice on what my focus should be and what you would do if you had the opportunity to be 18 again. Story 1. Spend more time with your parents. You never truly understand how much effort they put into uplifting and supporting you, even through their own struggles, until they are gone. Their hair is getting whiter, their walk is getting slower, and their faces are becoming wrinkled. Meanwhile, you are becoming an adult trying to figure out your own life. Your life will sort itself out as long as you keep moving forward, one step at a time, but your parents won't be around forever. Appreciate them and spend time with them while you still can. Story 2. My grandfather told me to learn a trade and keep it as a backup. You will have something to rely on if you pursue other interests. I wish I had listened to him. Story 3. Focus on your studies and seek co-op or internship opportunities for experience while in school. Work out to build muscle and practice grooming. If the economy in the UK is struggling, consider moving to Canada for work, as it may be easier for you due to the Commonwealth connection. With a good job, proper grooming, and a fit body, you can lead a fulfilling life. The accent you carry with you can also be an asset. Story 4. Great, now I have to get a fake identification again. I need to buckle down and focus on my education and beginning a career path and be a better boyfriend. Story 5. I was 18 in 1989. I would probably stick with my computer science major rather than switch to business. I would take better care of my body from head to toe. I would make more of an effort to meet people and hopefully have more relationships. I would make more of an effort. Story 6. Ensure that any negative experiences I faced in my studies and career do not affect my living situation, which I hope can improve. Dealing with roommates is not enjoyable. Story 7. Go to a country where you can study without incurring debt. Yes, that may require learning a foreign language. When you are not studying or working, engage in activities you enjoy and disregard societal expectations, as nobody truly cares about you, and that can be a good thing. Story 8. If I were 18 again, I would wake up and jump out of bed, ready to go without needing 15 minutes of stretching to avoid hurting myself. I would play an hour of basketball without needing to call an ambulance afterward. I would probably hit the gym earlier in my life and try to have more casual but protected sex. In other words, working hard for your future is important, but enjoying your youth and your body is equally essential. This time will never come back. Story 9. Go to the gym. I am by no means experienced, but if I had the knowledge and mindset I have now at 31, I would definitely go to the gym. Story 10. Exercise, eat healthy, sleep with supportive partners, and travel more. Story 11. I wouldn't have quit my band. The other members never became famous, but they moved to Austin, Texas, in their 20s and tried to make it. That would have been fun. Story 12. Go down to the coast and sign on to the first merchant ship that will take you. The military carried too high a price to suggest it to someone else, but I have no regrets about going to sea and seeing the world at a young age. Story 13. Oh, so many things. Fake it until I make it. I never thought this was real, but throughout high school, college, and beyond, it seems the only way to advance in life is to make it appear as though you are above where you currently stand. Then, when you gain access to the right social circles, they teach and train you so that you are actually at that level or at least closer to it. I could have accomplished more meaningful things that would have helped me later in life if I had played off people's first impressions of me. Date with zero standards. I was always one of those overly idealistic people who just wanted to meet the one and marry the first person I dated. That is a debilitating situation. If I could redo it, I would be an unapologetic flirt, approach many women, face rejection from most, engage in casual relationships, and make every mistake possible. By my current age, I would know how to build a fulfilling relationship with someone I would be happy to spend my life with, rather than having zero experience and feeling paralyzed at the thought of messing it up. Get into fitness. Nothing too extreme, but simply counting calories and dedicating at least 30 minutes to the gym a minimum of 3 days a week. Turning things around at my age isn't impossible, but it is a significant struggle. Get into the musical theater community. They are definitely eccentric, but those are my kind of people. Story 14. I would start taking better care of my health and appearance. I would work out daily, eat healthily, sleep better, prevent my hair from falling out, and wear sunscreen. I would avoid dating for relationships and instead focus on making as many friends as possible, both men and women. I would be less sexist and misogynistic and treat women better than I did at age 18. Story 15. Take care of your physical health. Exercise, eat right, and get enough sleep. Nowadays, if I don't do these, I can't function. Story 16. Ask Laura on a date instead of realizing 20 years later that we were really into each other and I was too unaware to see it. Story 17. I was not particularly religious, but I was surrounded by conspiracy theorists outside of high school. After graduation, I was raised as a Seventh-day Adventist. I spent 3 years of my life promoting the church, believing that arts, science, films, and similar pursuits were bad and evil. If I had studied film at 18, I would have developed a passion for what I am doing now. I am glad I left the Adventist church. Story 18. In no particular order. Watch less adult content. Care less about what people think. Do not feel pressured to fit into a certain scene, such as having to like clubs and drinking to avoid being considered boring. Avoid spending time with negative influences. Get out more. Choose a degree or career that makes you happy, not one that you believe is solely beneficial for financial gain. Story 19. I would likely pursue another degree or a completely different career. Electrical engineering is nice, but it no longer interests me. To be fair, many things that were difficult when I was younger would seem like a piece of cake nowadays, given my current knowledge. Additionally, I experience much less anxiety now. Life was easier back then. It was largely me who made it hard for myself. Story 20. I would seek counseling and medication, and take things more seriously to try to save my relationship if possible. Story 21. Learn another language and emigrate. I moved to the United Kingdom when I was young, and things were good. They are still good, but other countries offer different benefits, not just the weather. Story 22. If I were 18 again, I think I would probably explore life and meet more people instead of worrying about the future. Things will work out fine in the end, but you need to be patient. Story 23. I was your age and went to university in 2008 to study computer science. Honestly, you've probably timed it well. You have 3 to 4 years before you enter the workforce, and the economy will most likely be completely different by then. We will have a new government and a few years for them to implement some changes and turn things around. Don't think of it as debt, but rather as a tax on higher education. Look into any grants or bursaries that are available to you. For example, if you're a minority, come from an underprivileged background, or performed well prior to university, some places give you money based on your qualifications. Don't think too hard about it. The United Kingdom might be a different place once you finish. Story 24. Why not consider studying in Europe, where education can be free or at least more affordable compared to the United Kingdom? Leaving the UK could be beneficial, as the situation there is concerning, and improvement seems unlikely in the near future. Everything has its pros and cons, so my advice includes both benefits and drawbacks that are hard to separate. 1. I would not pursue a doctorate if I were younger. I would not stay in the UK for so long. I would not focus on dating. While relationships can be enriching, they often require significant time, effort, and money during your early 20s. However, it is important to experiment and discover what you enjoy and how to grow as a person. I would avoid long-distance relationships. I would start going to the gym earlier. I might travel less, as I have traveled too much in the past. I would be more open-minded about trying new experiences instead of remaining shy. Story 25. Am I 18 now, or did I travel back to when I was 18? If I were 18 now, I would focus on the gym. If I went back in time, I would delay attending college for a few years instead of accumulating massive debt for a degree I was unable to finish, and I would focus on the gym. Story 26. Start a business and spend my summer nights with people I genuinely enjoy. I want to have adventures, visit places I have never been, and be a little more adventurous. Story 27. If I were 18 again, with everything else being equal and the knowledge I have now, I would invest my savings in Bitcoin. I would then withdraw some around 2021 to buy property. I would also choose a degree apprenticeship instead of going to college. Story 28. Fresh start at 18? Given my current knowledge, I would marry her 5 years earlier, use my credit card for emergencies only, hold on to the motorcycle, and make a lot of investments earlier. Story 29. Am I 18 in the current year or 18 in the year when I was 18? If the first option, I would take much better care of my health and get fit, enjoying my 20s more than I did in reality. If the second option, I would do the same as above but invest significantly in Bitcoin. Story 30. If I were 18 again, I would invest in GameStop stocks. Although I would be upset, I would make sure to go to the gym. Story 31. If I were 18 again, I would have left my girlfriend at the time, knowing I could do better and definitely not gone to university. University financially burdened me, and I have not benefited from my Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. It never opened any doors for me. Story 32. We have all pondered questions such as this. But if we bought a large amount of Apple or Google stock, knowing the outcome, would we not change the timeline and thereby have a different outcome? This is philosophy. Story 33. I probably wouldn't do anything differently. I spent my teens, 20s, and early 30s playing video games while unemployed, and it was a lot of fun. Story 34. I am on track to earn my master's degree in data analytics. While it may not sound exciting, it would provide a reliable source of income. I have considered forensic accounting, but my habits make it challenging to pursue a career in that field. Therefore, I am focusing on data analytics. Story 35. Work harder at school, exercise more, be nicer to my family, and overall, just take it all in. Life has not been fantastic since. Story 36. Stay in school longer while choosing a field where I will have a secure job with reasonable pay sooner. I will not give up on the skills I am learning for myself, such as coding and languages. I will start working and gaining life experience sooner. I will avoid unhealthy relationships and not devote excessive thought to certain individuals. Story 37. I don't know what I would do, but I suggest you not buy into the negative outlook. Yes, the United Kingdom is struggling right now, but it is still one of the best places in the world to live, arguably at the best time to be alive. If you work in computer science, you will be very employable and command a good to great salary. You will be fine. Story 38. I would start many sports now to excel in them in my 30s, such as tennis, golf, and skiing. Starting early makes a significant difference. Story 39. Invest in something so I won't be at retirement age with just a pension and Social Security. Think for the future. Story 40. I thought I was going to finish my undergraduate degree in 3 years because I started university with 14 advanced placement credits, which many colleges recognize. I overloaded on my classes, which negatively impacted my GPA, and I became burnt out. Between my freshman and sophomore years, I decided to slow down and take all 4 years to complete my degree. This decision made the remainder of my time in undergraduate studies much more enjoyable. With the extra time, I joined extracurricular activities which helped me make friends, played club-level sports, and regularly went to the gym. I was in the best physical and mental health of my life when I graduated. My recommendation to my 18-year-old self would be to follow this strategy from the beginning. Story 41. I would focus more on school than on hanging out with friends and spend more time on campus to hopefully meet people, mainly girls. Story 42. Prepare and sharpen my mind for the upcoming years of loss, mental depression, and self-loathing. I would like to have a conversation with my 18-year-old self now that I am older and have gone through those experiences. Story 43. I wouldn't have started using drugs, smoking, or drinking. I have been off drugs for a while now but switched to vaping and drink more than I should, about 4 beers a day and heavier on weekends. Progress is progress. I made my bed, and I'm just trying to get out of it before I lie in it for too long. Story 44. Take advantage of the excellent travel opportunities abroad at my university and invest each month, no matter how small, in the S&P 500 through a Roth individual retirement account. Story 45. Is it 1992 again or 2024? If it's 1992, I would do what I did when I was 18. But by 19, I would go to college and complete the degrees I have now, or at least my second one. I would make money, buy property away from people, open a business by age 40, and retire while working in it. Additionally, I would start lifting weights at 18 when I returned from Europe. I wouldn't waste time on relationships or spend money on trivial things. Story 46. I wouldn't marry my first wife or have children right away. I would focus on working out and enjoying single life for a few years. Story 47. Take $10 a week or whatever you can afford and invest it in the stock market in an index fund. Just do that and take a look at it. Also, go out more and talk to more women. Don't settle. Story 48. I have thought about this many times and have come up with a couple of different scenarios. First, I would have accepted the scholarship offer I received, even if it were for 2 years of community college. I would have gone to nursing school, probably ended up earning my nurse practitioner certification, purchased a lot by the lake, built a comfortable but not extravagant house, and spent my days off fishing. Second, I wouldn't have let my dad talk me out of enlisting. I would have allowed the Army to pay for my nursing school, become an Army nurse, hopefully stationed somewhere sunny, served a respectable amount of time, then gone on to earn my nurse practitioner certification and accomplish the previously mentioned lifestyle. Either way, if I had the knowledge then that I have today, I probably would have passed on the married with kids life. I am just not good at it. Story 49. When I was 18, I would go to the gym regularly and attend trade school to learn electrical, plumbing, and HVAC work. If I were 18 today, I would still go to the gym regularly, but I would also go to school to learn everything I could about computer science and how to grow my own food. Both skills will be useful, although I'm not sure which one I would need more. Story 50. As a 44-year-old man, I don't think there is a lot I would change. I earned a degree in chemistry and entered the United States Army as an infantry officer when I graduated from college. That really set me up nicely with many opportunities for great careers once I left the Army, but the mental cost of war affected me later. I worked for Amazon for a bit before my post-traumatic stress disorder became severe enough to get me fired. After that, I landed a job with the federal government as a chemist, and I managed to hold on to that job until I was pushed into disability retirement at 35. I have regrets, and some aspects of my life are quite terrible, but my experiences made me who I am. Severe post-traumatic stress disorder that is disabling isn't ideal, but I'm comfortable financially and I really like my 2 daughters. Oddly, I'm quite content with where I am in life. I think the biggest piece of advice I'd offer is to live your life without regrets. Seize opportunities that arise, travel and work abroad, and if you're not happy with your current situation or the direction your life is heading, change it as soon as you can. It doesn't get any easier to change your life as you get older. Don't have children if you aren't ready for them. Don't jump into debt to buy a house if you aren't prepared for it. And don't stay in relationships if you aren't happy. Generally, taking care of your body when you're younger will pay huge dividends as you start to age. You don't have to be overly health conscious. Just don't smoke, avoid excessive drinking, eat somewhat healthily, and find enjoyable forms of exercise like hiking or mountain biking. Story 51. If I were 18 again with the knowledge I have now, I would start investing earlier. If I really had the knowledge, I would focus on investing in Bitcoin, but I am not an advocate for cryptocurrency, so I am not suggesting that. However, if I could go back in time, I would take specific actions. If I were 18 now, I would not stay at one job just because they call you family. Chase the money. You work to earn money so that hopefully one day you do not have to work or worry about finances anymore. Travel. I am 28 this year and feel like I lost a few years to the pandemic. That time just disappeared from my hands. I have traveled quite a bit, but I wish I had done more and started earlier. Be sensible with your finances and make investments. Invest in yourself first, then in index funds in that order. Do that for 15 to 20 years and you will thank me. Story 52. I had a decent job that allowed me to pay most of my way through school while enjoying myself every weekend. If I could do it all over again, I would celebrate every other weekend and save that $100 I spent at the bar instead. Now that I am in my 40s, seeing how quickly savings can grow makes me regret prioritizing socializing at the bar over investing in my future. You may miss out on some of the fun your friends are having. Don't isolate yourself. You need to live your life, but it really doesn't have to be an every week occurrence like I did and many others do. Story 53. Stop being shy about my real ambitions and chase them sooner. I am on time to pursue them, and I hope to succeed by the end of summer. Story 54. Find better friends. I was spending time with the wrong crowd. There was a decent group of people who liked me and wanted to get to know me. However, I felt like I wasn't good enough to be their friend, so I surrounded myself with negative influences. Eventually, they betrayed my trust and got me into trouble. Now at 25, I am starting to connect with better people. Story 55. I was a junior in high school. Knowing what I know now, I would have taken as many college courses in high school as I could, and I wouldn't have gone to an engineering school for chemical engineering. Instead, I would have changed my focus to computer science or engineering since I have been in information technology since 1999. In my experience, the teachers I had in high school did a better job of teaching than the professors I had in college. Additionally, during college, I relied too much on my advisor to tell me what courses I needed to take, and it negatively affected me. I should have been more proactive. That was my responsibility. Story 56. Change my major to engineering, start taking my health seriously, and do my best not to repeat the actions that led me to where I am now. Story 57. Focus on your health, personal development, self-improvement, finding ways to create passive income, and experiencing as much of the world as you can because life is short. Do not allow unworthy relationships and trivial matters to occupy your time. We are all here for a limited period. Make your life the best it can be, one where you can feel fulfilled and proud, despite some regrets and missed opportunities. Operate from a place of possibilities, not fear and anxiety. Story 58. I wouldn't have started dating my ex. Even though we had great moments and some bad ones, I wish I hadn't committed to a serious relationship when I was starting college. Story 59. I would have been more involved, whether that was in sports or other activities involving people. I would have asked out more girls and not rushed into college, as my generation was told we would never get a real job if we didn't. I would have established better boundaries with friends. Story 60. I first went to community college and earned an associate degree to transfer credits to university. It is not guaranteed that your credits will transfer. I specifically planned with my academic advisor before my freshman year to create a course plan that the university I wanted to attend would accept. One issue with this approach is that you complete all the easy core classes in your first 2 years, but then at university I struggled because I was taking multiple upper division courses each semester, and I had never been so thoroughly challenged before. I basically flunked out of my bachelor's program. If I could do it again, I would immediately go into industry after earning my associate degree. Although I learned a lot from university, I always chose classes I thought I would learn the most from, rather than classes I thought I would pass easily. Unfortunately, that really hurt my grades since I took classes that were completely new fields for me. I learned a lot but also struggled immensely. Also, don't start your life in debt. I incurred a little bit of student debt, about $3,000, which is manageable. However, you really have to be firm with your parents and express your financial situation, emphasizing that you are not going to bury yourself in debt just to get a slightly better education for your resume. My family has a sense of pride, so I struggled to have a straightforward conversation about this. My parents would even get upset when I wanted to drop a class, which further impacted my GPA because I could never drop one. I only ever dropped one class secretly because I knew my parents would argue. There were many more I should have dropped but didn't because they already knew I was taking the course, and I couldn't assert myself. The associate degree was well worth it. In-state community college was quite affordable. It did make me a little snobbish because I felt superior to others. This negatively affected me at university because I finally met people who were better than me in every way. I would see some fit individuals in Calculus 3 and laugh to myself, thinking they were out of place, but they were not just jocks. Those individuals were superhuman nerds, both smart and athletic. I couldn't comprehend that someone could excel in everything I thought I was good at. These super nerds also had excellent time management skills and completed every homework assignment promptly, to the point where they couldn't understand how anyone could submit work at the last minute. It was mind-blowing. Story 61. I wish I could put myself out there, be confident, talk to women more, and seek a better career. Story 62. Honestly, nothing. I am happy with how my life turned out since then. Nothing I could change would make any meaningful impact on my life today. Story 63. I would engage in a long-term plan to become a better person earlier. I would start building the skills required to be a world-class entrepreneur. I would work diligently every day until I could weather financial storms before starting a family. Then I would scale back and find a way to help humanity. Ultimately, if you know you are not contributing more than you are taking, you will feel empty, and you may not even know why. Story 64. Realize that working is about building wealth for your future. While it is important to enjoy life, saving for retirement is essential. When I was young, I was taught that 65 was the retirement age. It should be emphasized that retirement is a financial status, not an age. You can retire at 45 or 50 if you plan well. Money invested in a retirement fund from ages 19 to 24 will yield more than all the money you contribute from ages 30 to 55. Start now. Always pay yourself first. Savings protect you from having to rely on others' money in case of emergencies. Money in your retirement fund is more valuable than a night out drinking with friends. Credit cards are tools, not money. Use them wisely and they can benefit you. Use them carelessly and they can lead to financial destruction. Learn how to budget and stick to it. Save up for things rather than purchasing them on credit. Just because you can afford the monthly payment does not mean you can afford the item. Money does not buy happiness, but poverty certainly brings misery. Use your youth to work multiple jobs until you pay off your student debt. Also, eat healthily and take care of your body. You only get one body, and much of the damage done cannot be reversed. All those little injuries accumulate over time. Soon, you may find yourself as the person who groans when standing up. Take care of your teeth. It requires minimal time and money each day, but neglecting them can lead to expensive repairs. If you cannot afford repairs immediately, you may have to settle for cheaper options or endure pain that disrupts your daily life until you can afford the treatment. Story 65. Ironically, studying computer science, my friends in the field are earning significantly at their major tech jobs, all while working remotely or in a hybrid environment, maintaining standard hours, traveling, and enjoying life. Meanwhile, I am earning a modest salary as I figure out my next steps. Story 66. I would focus on finishing school in 4 to 5 years and gain some internships. Enjoy college as it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As you get older, you will likely never experience a group of young people studying together. Story 67. Hit the gym the right way and try to be more successful in your relationships. Essentially, it's about improving what I was already doing. Story 68. I would tell my 18-year-old self how to deal with money. I have limited savings and retirement for the amount of money I have earned. There are other things I would be tempted to tell myself, but with better financial awareness and guidance while young, I might have made better decisions. Story 69. First, get ADHD medication or mushrooms, whichever is readily accessible at the time. Then start a retirement fund because unexpected events happen. Learn a second language as it can help you earn a higher salary. Learn computer programming. I remember laughing at the people getting into computers at that time, but now they are successful. Learn to drive and consider starting a YouTube channel, as it can be a lucrative venture. Maybe join the Masons. Story 70. If I were 18 again, I would work hard on my future. I would sacrifice whatever was necessary to be in a better position. I would talk to more girls and try new things. I would take action regarding my mental health instead of waiting over a decade to address it. I would stop watching pornography and strive to make something of my life, eager to see what the future holds. If you are reading this, focus on what you are good at and find ways to earn from it. Strive for your best. You are young and have so much ahead of you. Story 71. I would date more and focus more on relationships. The dating pool becomes less favorable as you get older. I spent my late teens and early 20s mostly studying hard in the library to achieve a high grade point average in college, which I did. However, it turns out that grades did not matter at all. Employers do not care about your college grades, so that effort felt like a waste of time. I could have maintained a 2.5 or 3.0 average and been fine. I did not need a 4.0. There were many girls I could have pursued, but I didn't. Do not ignore your dating life while pursuing grades or vice versa. There needs to be a balance. Story 72. Don't invest too much time in your career. Focus on your passions and your loved ones. Work only as needed. Story 73. Ask a girl out. I am very happy with my life right now at 25. I was a commercial pilot and am now in the Air Force awaiting training. I enjoy my many hobbies and am slowly chipping away at my debts. However, I have never dated or been in a relationship. As I grow more comfortable being by myself, I feel increasingly intimidated by the prospect of dating. I am not losing sleep over this, but it does nag at the back of my mind from time to time. Additionally, I am being more aggressive with my investment profile to help my money grow faster in my tax-free savings account and registered retirement savings plan. I am getting on top of that now. Story 74. Invest in Bitcoin and focus on mastering a single genre of video games to become a successful streamer. Story 75. Finish college or university. Do not take a semester off. This almost never works out. Yes, someone may say it worked for them, but they are the exceptions. Figure out what you love and see if you can make a career out of it. If you can, go for it. If not, enjoy it as a fulfilling hobby. I am a business consultant by trade, but I have been doing comedy and theater on the side for 20 years and love my life. Money is a means to an end, not happiness itself. Yes, you need money to survive, but once you get past basic needs, which is not easy, I understand. I had roommates until my late 20s. Take time for yourself. I wish I had found my confidence sooner. I used to be shy and wasted many years not enjoying and exploring the world we live in. Story 76. Be brave and ask out women with confidence. Don't be afraid to ask more than once. Sorry, Lynn. I should have been less timid. My apologies. Story 77. If we could go back in time, I would have asked a friend to see an oncologist 2 years earlier. She actually discovered that she had cancer at an inoperable stage 2 years later. I might have saved her life. I would also have applied for my current job much earlier. Story 78. Watch your weight and exercise. I'm 59 now and wish I had programmed a little less and spent more time watching my weight and exercising. Story 79. I would 1. Work out more and focus on myself. Learn an instrument. Learn a high-level programming language. Drink and smoke less. Not focus on women. Story 80. I would have started my commercial heating, ventilation, and air conditioning career as soon as I turned 18 instead of starting at 25. It has been the best decision I ever made, and I'm 30 now. I got paid to learn, and I'm making a great living. If I had started at 18, I would have been even better off. I also wish I had started my individual retirement account at 18. Story 81. Don't watch YouTube while studying. I'm glad I learned to keep my tastes under control. Learning to make hashed browns in the microwave and brown them in a pan has served me better than most other skills. Story 82. Get into foreign exchange as soon as possible, get a job, learn foreign exchange trading, then invest the majority of it into foreign exchange trading while saving some on the side. Build my personal trading account, continue saving, and add funds to the trading account until it reaches a point where I can live off it. Story 83. Start working more on music. I have accomplished so much with it that I honestly never thought I was capable of at 18. Story 84. I would learn a trade, cherish my friendships and family, and do more things that spark joy and spontaneity. That's all. Story 85. Learn disc golf. I started playing it too late and wasted a significant amount of money on traditional golf. Story 86. Honestly, I will probably figure out what makes me happy and pursue that as hard as I can. People often sideline their own happiness and desires to an overwhelming extent. Story 87. A lot of the things I would do differently rely on knowledge of the future and of myself. One big thing I would take back with me is confidence. It's unfortunate that there is no real way to transmit or teach that to someone else, except to say that it works by acting confident until you actually are. Public speaking works the same way. You imagine what a good public speaker might say and then say that. Approaching someone you are interested in works similarly. Learn to act like you are comfortable outside of your comfort zone because it is a useful and broadly applicable skill. I would also start taking care of my health earlier. I know it's often unhelpful to tell a young person this, but the truth is that some health conditions have no cure, and the only way to avoid them is to prevent getting them in the first place. Some are hard to avoid, but many are fairly easy. Eat reasonable portions of balanced meals, and get plenty of sleep and exercise. Don't take any substances habitually unless your doctor advises you to. I'm not saying to never have fun or get messy. I'm just saying that you need to clean up and maintain a healthy lifestyle overall. Story 88. I managed my money much better and stayed at my job, as well as ended my current relationship. I could have my own place, the car I want, and good credit. I would honestly be set at an early age and happy. Story 89. In college, I would ask the professor on the first day of each class what practical skills their class would teach me. If the answers are vague, I would walk out. If they can clearly articulate tangible skills, I would stay. If I hear, you will learn the C family languages and common coding practices, or you will learn the foundational data structures, then it is a worthwhile class. If I hear something like, you will learn about the global condition, or we will open your eyes to perspectives outside of your own as we deconstruct society, I have found an instructor who is wasting my time. Some humanities classes can be decent and won't fall into this trap. My history class was at least interesting, even if it didn't offer me anything toward my degree. However, my global condition class only revealed that my professor was unqualified to teach any topic and had an irrational disdain for anyone not from the developed world. If I had asked her beforehand what skills we would be taught or what methods we would use to analyze things, I would have quickly realized that she was not competent and the class was useless. Many new college students defer to the authority of someone teaching a class and do not take the time to examine the content or what's being taught with a critical eye. Outside of school, I would be much more firm in my boundaries in a relationship. No partner is worth what some will put you through. Reflect on what you truly value and what you would never want to compromise on, and find a partner who respects those limits. Having a partner simply to avoid being alone is not worth it if they are not good for you. Do not hesitate to say no and address things that make you uncomfortable. Some red flags will leave lasting marks you cannot remove. I would also be much more critical of any medications prescribed to me. I have found that many doctors may not be forthcoming about some of the side effects and risks. Being proactive about your health in response to the casual attitudes of someone who will not have to live or die with the consequences is always advisable. Story 90. Do I keep the knowledge I have now? Or is it like I wake up at 18 again with the knowledge I had at that age? If it's the first, I am definitely more aggressive in my studies and dating life. I am also more diligent regarding my eye disease. Story 91. I majored in economics, but if I were 18 again, I would have learned more about finance. You do not need to take more college courses to gain this knowledge. There is a wealth of information on the internet and video platforms about the most efficient ways to pay off debt and invest. We spend many years in school, but no one takes the time to explain how money works for us or against us. Managing our finances is the most important thing we ever do because we all live in a world where nothing is free. It took me 4 decades to become financially secure, and I had to endure both the emotional and financial costs of a divorce along the way, which was a significant obstacle regarding my goals. Please equip yourself with financial knowledge. This will be the strongest tool in your arsenal. Godspeed. Story 92. I would run a lot if I were 18 again. If I were you, I would get the most stable digital nomad job available. I would move to an affordable place and work hard to pay off my debts. I would also seek a partner with an appealing personality to enjoy good times together. Story 93. Follow my dreams and at least try, even if it doesn't work out. At least then there wouldn't be the what if hanging over me for the rest of my life. As a young adult, you have plenty of time to take risks, and then you can choose a more sensible path if it doesn't work out. For context, I wanted to be a comic book artist since I was about 10. I attended 1 year of art school after high school, but my parents' concerns about the realities of pursuing art. What if it doesn't work out? And starving artist is a saying for a reason. Finally made me change my major to computer science. I understand they were just thinking about my future and wanted me to be okay. This made me abandon art altogether. I wasn't going to pursue it as a career, so I thought I might as well not do it at all. Creating art reminded me of what I had given up. The truth is, I didn't need a degree in it. Had I continued with art, I could have still tried to make it a career, and being a computer programmer could have just been what I did until that became possible. Recently, I decided to start getting back into art, and it has really made me think. Some people might say, it's never too late. Perhaps, but my art skills have greatly suffered from disuse. For context, I am 42, so I am not exactly a spring chicken. If I were 30, I might be more excited about my newfound inspiration. I look at the work I did in high school, and I am baffled at how I managed that. I feel like I am seriously back to the basics, relearning things I once mastered. I feel like I am on the same level I was in middle school, but I am going to stick with it because I enjoy it. I have been at it every day for about 2 weeks, making a point to put in the work. Fortunately, some skills have returned to me with minimal instruction, as if my subconscious was saying, yes, I remember how to do this. If I reach a level of confidence in the quality of my work from a commercial standpoint, and fortunately, money is not an issue for me, my ultimate goal is to self-publish a graphic novel. If I achieve that, no matter what happens afterward, I will have scratched that itch and be able to say I did it, that I accomplished the thing I always wanted to do. What ultimately inspired me was reading an article about someone who had never drawn in their life but, within 2 years of dedicated effort, was making a living from art and doing freelance work for video games and movies. Their progress from when I started to where they are now is astonishing, to say the least. While I do not expect those kinds of results, it is rather inspiring to think it may not be too late. So, in essence, if there is something you've always wanted to do, try. Story 94. If I could go back to when I was 18 and take my current life lessons with me, I would choose a different university and a different major. By the time I retired, I had lost the passion I initially had for my career and spent the latter part wishing I had pursued something else. The financial rewards were sufficient, but there was no joy left in my work. Story 95. I'm quite interested in this conversation because I'm 18 right now. If there is any advice anyone could give me, it would be greatly appreciated. I am on a downward spiral due to major depression and anxiety, and I'm struggling. I barely get out of bed anymore, and I'm not eating, drinking, or spending time with my family. I'm just sleeping constantly because it's an escape for me. If anyone has advice on how to improve my situation, I would really appreciate it. I feel like I'm dying, and reading these responses makes me realize I have so much life left to live. I don't want it to be over, not yet at least. This is a cry for help from a desperate young man who feels lost. I just graduated high school in 2023, and as soon as I was out, my life went downhill. Now I'm lower than I've ever been, and I need help. Story 96. As a software engineer, travel. While you travel, write code. As you write code, build things of value for those you meet. Build a large audience and community, and one day, hopefully, you can continue this lifestyle without having to work. My only regret is that I did not start a company. Story 97. Choose a different career path altogether. Being pressured to settle down, have a plan, and choose a career at 17 was more harmful than beneficial. I wasted a lot of time chasing a dead end. Get into fitness and wellness sooner. Visit the doctor more regularly and seek mental health support when needed. Make healthier choices regarding my diet and personal life. Surround myself with better people. Spend more time with family members and loved ones before it is too late. Tomorrow is never promised. You may never get another chance to tell someone that you love them after today. Stop living my life solely for the approval of others, and stop being a people pleaser. Making life choices based on making my family proud rather than following what I actually wanted to do drove me insane for years. Story 98. Learn to budget and stick to it. Understanding your income, needs, wants, and savings is essential to avoid accumulating further debt. Story 99. I wish I were 18 again. I feel like I have failed at life by the age of 23. I never would have thought I would be saying this at 23, but I feel I have failed to embrace my youth. It almost seems like your entire life hinges on a few short years immediately after high school. After that, you are no longer considered young but rather middle-aged and expected to trade your dreams for money. It's astonishing how quickly time passes. I wish I could be young again, but all that remains for me feels bleak and unexciting in adulthood. On one hand, I feel incredibly youthful, while on the other, I feel as though my life is over. Story 100. Figure out the fitness routine that fits into your schedule, no matter what. Once you leave school, time becomes scarce. Especially if you have a job that does not require manual labor, your fitness level will begin to decline if you don't prioritize it, which can also affect your mental health. There's a reason for the jokes about everyone starting to train for a marathon when they turn 30. If I could go back, I would prioritize my health from the beginning. My health deteriorated without me noticing, and I've experienced both highs and lows mentally. Getting in shape has been a game changer. If you don't enjoy the chosen activity, you won't commit to it, so find something you love. Story 101. Do I have 30 years of experience and knowledge? If so, then quite a lot. If not, then probably nothing. My advice: invest your money, exercise, eat less junk food, and drink less beer. Story 102. Focus on putting in the hard work at 18. Focus on your degree and studying diligently. You only need to obtain that degree once, and it will benefit you significantly in the future. You're setting yourself up for success. I am 32 now, and I am only just beginning to work on these things. I wish I had accomplished them when I was your age instead of partying and concentrating on relationships. Story 103. I am a woman, but I would consider applying to German or Scandinavian universities if I were you. Most lectures are still in English, and you will not have to pay a fortune. Additionally, you earn more in these countries as a computer scientist, and it is not too far from the United Kingdom. If you choose a city with an airport, you can visit your parents relatively often. If your mental health is already struggling, take proactive steps. This major change may bring up a lot of issues you have faced before, so set up a support system. Be prepared to occasionally feel lost or lonely, and consider trying a mental health application or something similar. Enjoy your time. It may be intense but is really formative, and it can be rewarding mentally even if you do struggle, which many people do in computer science. Lastly, computer science majors can sometimes develop a superiority complex and become dismissive of women, economics majors, or anyone artistic. Try not to be that person. If you want to apply to Germany, I studied computer science there and would be happy to help. Story 104. Here's what I would do. Take good financial practices seriously. Avoid eating out, paying for numerous subscriptions, or worrying about having a nice car. Save money and invest it in a good high-yield savings account or index fund. In my opinion, it's worth living in a modest apartment for a few years if it allows you to save for a proper house one day. Never drink alcohol. If I had any idea of the consequences it would have on me, I would have avoided it. I still have issues from it to this day, and I haven't had a drop in almost 5 years. I totally agree with those who say to avoid pornography. I would also recommend limiting social media time, as there is a concerning link between mental health and social media use. I would have taken my passions more seriously. I wanted to be a musician and had good initial success, but I ended up spending most of my time playing video games or being lazy. In short, it's hard to go against the grain, especially at a young age. What I used to do and what I see other young people do often revolves around short-term thrills or trying to impress people they'll never know, which can hinder them later in life. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.